What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of my hip hop review. This is your boy Rez here. The album I'm about to review tonight, this morning, as I should say, is Brand Nubian's In God We Trust. This is their second studio album released in 1993 on Elektra Records. This was the first album that they've done without Grand Puba, and I think DJ Alamo. I think. Let me see if I'm getting his name right, but yeah, so this was like the first album that they've done without mostly Puba and shit, because, yeah, you guys know what happened with that because of the fact that, there was, I think, somewhat some tension between the group and whatnot. So both Puba and DJ Alamo left. So it was just Sadat X, Lord Jamar, and they let this other DJ Sincere, join the group. Let me turn this down a little bit. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I believe this album was supposed to have been dropped in '92 because the majority of the album was released in '92. But with the controversies over this content of the album, I think I could be wrong. But all right, so you guys should know who Brand Nubian are. You guys should know who Brand Nubian are. They originally consisted of members Grand Puba, Sadat X, Lord Jamar, and DJ Alamo. They dropped the first album, One for All, in 1990, which critically acclaimed album. It got them a lot of commercial success and shit like that. Hits like All for One, Slow Down, Wake Up. Love that song, Wake Up, and shit like that. So after the group dropped that album, Grand Puba, he started coming up to shows late, because he was that dude and shit like that. He was that dude, and it kind of rubs that ex Lord Jamar the wrong way that he was getting all this attention. So they kept arguing, going back and forth, and then Puba left like in '91, and then that's when he dropped this album, the Real to Real album, which Speaky Cloud would definitely do a review on this one day and shit like that. So I'm not gonna touch this album as of yet. So stay tuned on those. But yeah, so that album was released, and fucking Jamar and Sada X, they asked DJ Sincere to join the group and whatnot. And so by the end of '92, they released a single called Punks Jump Up to Get a Beat Down, which I'm gonna talk about in a minute. Um, where that song was a very controversial track and whatnot, and which I'll explain in a minute as well. So, excuse me. And so also that same year in '92, they were working on this album and shit like that, appearing on soundtracks like the Menace to Society soundtrack. So that's how this album came about, In God We Trust. So yeah, with this album right here, you can already like just about the album cover right here and shit like that. Cause you see like the dollar bill getting burned and shit like that. Like fucking dope and shit. This is them right here, just chilling. I believe that's like Lord Jamar right there. I think that's DJ Sincere. That's Sadat X right there. Singles album is known for Punks Jump Up to Get a Beat Down, Allah You Akbar, which was just playing in the background, and Love Me or Leave Me Alone. Hold up. Gotta love these booklets from back in the day. Alright, sorry about that, but yeah, so nothing too much. They just got the credits right here, and they got all the members right there too, so really nothing too much to that, but I ain't complaining. So yeah, this album has 14 songs. So let's get this shit started. Let me pull up my notes. Yeah, that's the thing about me, y'all. I always like to have my notes in depth and shit like that, just in case. Because most of the time, I like to go by off memory when I do these reviews and shit like that. But just in case I find a bit of trivia, then I might pull up some notes and shit. So just something you know about myself. But anyway, come on now. And it also loves when my computer does updates and shit like that. So now I have to put everything back up there. Okay, I got everything. Okay. So, track number one, Allah You Akbar. Very dope opening for a song. I mean, for the album and shit. Um, for all my people from 5%, is Allah You Akbar. Basically means God is great. It basically talks about God is great. God is the greatest and shit like that. Very dope song and shit like that. Nice way to begin the album. I love the beginning. What it do is like Allah Akbar, like just add like a very cinematic feeling to the album and shit. Track number two, which is playing in the background, Ain't No Mystery. Um, One thing you guys you witnessed about this album was the growing chemistry between Jamar and Sadat X, which, because I mentioned this before in the all for one review, how fucking Sadat X, I always felt like it kind of took him a while to get used to his style and shit like that. But with this album and shit, he definitely stood out on a couple of tracks and shit. And this is a really time where his voice became like an instrument, if you know what I mean. So, ain't no mystery talking about, is just talking about, them talking about the 5% doctrine, as well as, taking shots at the that Christianity as well and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I felt that was pretty interesting and shit. I felt like Lord Jamar had the best verse and shit. He had some lines like, "It's got to be a trick for the deaf, dumb, and blind. Now, would you step up home for the and wait for a mystery God to bring food, clothing, and shelter? Emphatically, no, mathematically, that just don't go. See, me and my people been lost for over 400 years and done tried this mystery God, and all we got was hard times, hunger, and nakedness from a snake that hissed." And that's kind of interesting too, because it's talking about how the Christian community always want to talk about pray, go to church and your problems will be good and shit like that. But how is it that we pray and all that and our people still gets bamboozled, our people still get beaten and killed by ones and shit like that? So I felt that was a very interesting song and shit like that. Lil Jamar definitely went in on that shit. Track number three, Meaning of the 5%. This song was actually a speech that they recorded from Louis Farrakhan and shit like that. Louis Farrakhan, keep your head up. Fuck social media, by the way, for banning him. They use a Marvin Gaye sample, and Farrakhan, his speech, he's talking about the basic beliefs that the 5% like go upon and shit like that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Very interesting and shit like that. Track number four, Past the Gap. Very dope song. Possibly my second favorite song off the album. That beat, oh my god, that beat is so ill. I kid you not, that beat is so ill. Very dark and shit like that. Just feeling strapped and shit like that. Gotta get strapped, for anything. Track number five, Black Star Line featuring Red Fox. No, not the comedian Red Fox, like the reggae. It's like the reggae singer, some dance hall artist, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, this was an okay song. The reason why they called this song Black Star Line was because it was paying homage to Marcus Garvey's um steamship ship by the same name and shit like that was used to transport blacks back to Africa. Because you guys know that Marcus Garvey, he always stood about the whole going back to Africa and whatnot. So yeah, I felt like the song was pretty okay. I respect what they were going with it, but it's not like one of my favorite songs off the album. Track number six, Allah and Justice. Um, Allah and Justice. Very interesting track too. Like, the piano beat has a very haunted piano beat and shit. It uses a Howard Tate sample. And I like how it has a pitched down voice, where it's like peace to the gods, peace to the earth. Kind of reminds me of like Tupacalypse Now in a way, but yeah, very interesting song and shit like that. Yeah, Allah and Justice. Track number seven, The Gods Must Be Crazy. Oh my god, this song is so true to this day. One of my favorite songs off this album and whatnot. Um, Of course, they're using the name "Gods Must Be Crazy." They named it after the movie back in the early '80s and shit like that. You guys should know. You guys should know what movie I'm talking about. The Gods Must Be Crazy. And you know, 5%ers, they always refer to the black man as God and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So what I got from that song was, you know, every time a black man or a black person wants to speak their mind about a certain topic, they always gets labeled as crazy or misunderstood. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I felt like that was pretty interesting as well. Sadat X definitely had the best verse. I love the lines when he was like, "Some days I wake up mad and I don't feel like hearing shit. Put all your talking to the curb, Jack, and you don't even know me." Cause you know, I'll get into that after I finish this line. Keep thinking wild, crush a kid when live big on stage at a show, not even fucking up my cool flow. And yeah, that line kind of speaking a lot of terms and shit like that. It's kind of speaking a lot of terms and shit like that. Cause you know, you be having them some days where you just don't want to hear from people and shit like that. You be waking up mad and shit. And you know, with everything that's going on with the country and shit like that, you know, it's very hard for a black man, very hard for a black man to like, you know, reach his heights and shit because his country, they want to put the black man down in every way possible and shit like that. So yeah, the gods must be crazy. Definitely a very dope song. Love that shit. Track number 8, the Travel Jam. Oh my fucking god, this is my favorite song off this album. The Travel Jam, man. Pew, pew, like that has got to be like that song right there, man. It's just it could have definitely been something you would definitely have heard in the first album, but with a twist. Um, one is it's just talking about how you know they're on tour and shit like that, what they be going through on tours and shit, coming up hours late. But at the same time, when they rock the show, they rock the show. And just the back and forth that Sadat and Lord Jamar does, like, hey yo, peace, God, peace, yo, you up? Yeah, I'm up and packed, and my bags is at the door. Well, don't forget your leather bomber. Where we're going, it's gonna get kind of cold. I'm gonna go and miss mama on my grand old earth. Goodbye, cool. Like it's just the way they were flowing on that song, going back and forth, man. I was just like, and y'all say that they fell off with this album. The fuck out of here, man. Like these brand Nubian heads, like brand Nubian man, when it comes to their fan base, some people in their fan base they always want to say that this album and everything is everything was like the death nail for the group, but hell fucking no. Hell, and I'm gonna talk more about that after the review is over because you know I have a certain things to say about that, but yeah, man, they were just going in on this track, man. Like no fucking choruses. I mean, unless you count the New York Bank Rock the House when they were shouting out all of the cities and shit like that. But yeah, Travel Jam, man. One of my favorite Brand Nubian songs, period. Track number 9, Brand Nubian Rock the Set. Um, Pretty much like a continuation. Cause now it's kind of like, you know, a party kind of song and shit like that. Kinda because you know they're talking about, you know, showing out in a concert and shit like that. So yeah, I felt like the song was pretty interesting, you know. Very interesting shit. Track number 10, Love Me or Leave Me Alone. Whew. Another dope song. I know something that all of my fellas, you know, they've been through this and shit like that where you got this fucking chick that's playing games with your ass and shit like that, using you as a toy. Um, Using you as a toy and shit like that, you know. And you just gotta put it down like you want to be with me or you don't want to be with me. If you don't want to be with me, leave me the fuck alone, basically. So yeah, like very very good, cool song and shit like that. Another song where I kind of felt like Sadat did his thing. Well, both Jamal and Sadat did his thing, but the last verse Sadat put, I got a good thing, girl. It's a righteous love. Now that quick on a top one shot hop. I make your knees get wet in a place I'll pet. I make you breathe faster than you can believe. Like fucking Sadat X, man. Like this is wordplay. It's just So yeah, love me or leave me alone. But here's something that I've always wanted to know. Is that Mary J. Blige doing the background vocals? I hear it's Mary J. Blige. I hear it's not Mary J. Blige, but that's something that I've always dead ass wanted to know in a way and shit. So yeah, that is Love Me or Leave Me Alone. Very, very dope song. Very dope song and shit like that. Track number 11, Steal Your Hoe. Another is cool song, you know, just talking about the sex escapades with these two and shit like that, you know. Very, very cool song. Love that beat to that. Track number 12, Steady Bootlegging. Another dope track where it's talking about something that you rarely hear hip hop talking about, bootlegging. Bootlegging and shit. Because around this time, you know, a lot of rappers were getting bootlegged, their materials getting bootlegged and stuff like that. And I know Pete Rock and CeeLo Smooth, they addressed that in the Mecca and the Soul Brother album with a song called Straighten It Out. Very dope song, dope album by the way. Very dope song, dope album by the way and shit like that. So it was very interesting to hear Brent Nubian's take on it. And to that X, you know, he kind of said some lines like, but I don't cause I maintain you're just a common street peddler, offender. The question revolves: is the record company involved? If the reality is that I'm being played, and that's kind of shit that's true too, because you kind of wonder if the record company, you know, with the record company and shit like that, you kind of wonder if they are behind the whole bootleg and shit, and sometimes and shit like that, because when it comes to like artists leaking their own material and stuff like that, sometimes like an artist, they leak their own material. You know, they have like all the samples intact. Cause you know, once like the sample clearances come knocking on your door basically and shit like that, that's when you have to redo the fucking album without the samples and shit. So which record companies should, you know, record companies in time should have like a budget for sampling in my opinion, but no, that's asking too much shit. That's asking too much shit, but so yeah, I kind of felt Steady Bootlegging. It's a very cool song and shit like that. Even though artists today they don't mind bootlegs or leaking material and shit like that, but it is what it is. Track number 13, Black and Blue. Give me 1 second. I gotta blow my nose. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. My nose was getting a little stuffed up. But yeah, back to what I'm saying. Black and Blue, very good, very, very, very good song and shit like that. Um, it's talking about this black cop that, you know, he feels powerful when he has the police badge on and shit like that. He feels powerful when he has the police badge on, and at the same time, it's like he's still doing grimy shit to his own people and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's one thing I love about that song, Black and Blue. It kind of reminds me of KRS One's Black Cop off the Return of the Boom Bap album. But I kind of feel like Brand New kind of tackled this subject more appropriately and shit like that. Not turning this the Black Cop song though, but yeah. And the final song off this album, Punks Jump Up to Get a Beat Down. Love this song. Mind you, this was like the only song where it had an outside producer, which was Diamond D, off DITC fame and shit. So yeah, remember how I said that this song kind of had like a lot of controversy? Well, it has some controversy because of the homophobic lyrics from Sad X. Like when he says some shit like, I can freak, fly, flow, fuck up a faggot. I don't understand their ways. I ain't down with the gays. Because you know the 5%, they were against like the gay community and whatnot. The gay community and shit like that. And with later releases, especially on like the compilation album, they kind of replace it with different lyrics and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, go figure on that. But yeah, every time I hear that song, man, it just gets me hyped and shit like that. Punks jump up to get a beat down. Like this song right here, oh, fucking ill ass song. The Diamond D remix too. Check that shit out. Check that shit out too. On some real shit, but Yeah. And this is Brand Nubians In God We Trust. Overall, love this album right here. It's a, dare I say, it's a hip hop. It's a classic album in my opinion and shit. Reason why I love this album was because you hear more of Lord Jamar and Sadat X. Not like I said, I'm not trying to bash on Ram Poobah or off one for all for one, one for all. Not trying to bash on that, but yeah, they kind of came into their own with this album and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The topics that they were even talking about this album, like black on black crime, DeMarcus Garvey, 5%, like 5%ers, bootlegging, very ahead of his time when it came to hip hop and shit. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? The production definitely is like a lot more darker in the vein and shit like that. Like a lot more darker. They definitely did a thing with the production, and I think like they would like continue to produce their own works like after and shit like that. 'Cause I know that Lord Jamar did the majority of Everything Is Everything, which stay tuned on that review. 'Cause I do have a lot of things to say about that album as well too. So yeah. So other than that, yeah, this is a very very good album and shit like that. Very good album. Must have in your collection. Um, I think this album is actually out of print because I know that Traffic re-released this album in 2004 and shit like that. And what's interesting about that, the re-release is still, comes up with 2 vinyls and whatnot. Um, so if y'all can find this album, must have in your collection. It's not expensive though, but yeah, I think it's out of print. Kind of One for All. That album is still in print, and I don't know about Everything Is Everything though, but that's another story for a different day. But other than that, Brand Nubians In God We Trust, 1993, classic album. And yeah, and that's one more thing I do have to say. I know like a lot of people they want to talk shit about the post One for All Brand Nubian albums and whatnot. But here's the thing: I think because they didn't like how dark a lot of material went and shit like that. But here's the thing, man: like they were going through a lot of shit by the time they recorded this album and stuff. So just give it a chance. It's not as bad as people think. It should not be as bad as people think. So must have in your collection. That's all the time I have. Stay tuned for more. Make sure y'all click that subscribe button. Peace.